Call the meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, July 9, and it's now 9:10. Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Erdman,
Here?
Commissioner Boatright,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Hegeman,
Here.
Commissioner Slade,
Here.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
All present, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. As we move forward with our business today, I have a reminder for all that we are live streaming this open meeting for the public to view from their home or office. If you are speaking, please make sure you speak into the microphone and that the microphone is so that viewers may hear what's being said. For the viewers watching online, we encourage you to subscribe to MoDOT's YouTube channel at MoDOT Video for access to these meetings and more. We're going to start our meeting this morning with a brief safety emphasis. Randy Albor, Assistant District Engineer in the Central District, is going to share with us what we need to do in case of an emergency today. Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners and Director Hassinger. In the event of a fire, we got exits to the side here. We'll head down the stairway and make one loop down the stairwell, exit through the to the lobby out, or the opening out there. We'll cross over Fifth Street, kind of gather in that opening over there while response is taking place. In the event of severe weather, we'll head through the same staircase, just go to the lowest level. There's a lobby down at the lowest level, and that's where we'll kind of congregate there. Everybody kind of take note of who's next to you and make sure we all arrive safely in that situation. In the event of a medical emergency, Becky Homeroth will call 911. We'll also have Michelle Watkins will be administering CPR, and I'll be grabbing the AED, which happens to be located below the podium here. That's all I've got. Thanks.
Okay, very good, thank you. Next, I would like to recognize a few of our elected officials, special guests who we have joining us today. We just completed about an hour-long coffee with some of these elected officials where we had an opportunity to hear from them directly, and we certainly do appreciate their public service. I believe joining us today, and if so, please stand, State Representatives Greg Bush, Kent Hayden, and Tim Taylor. Thank you. Appreciate your public service. And I wonder, is Mayor Buffalo of Columbia here? Mayor, thank you for joining us. Let's give them a round of applause. Next, I need to review a few procedural items. I want to remind everyone that we do have a public comment period, and we're pleased to offer this to every Missourian who wants to come before the commission to address an issue of concern. Any of you who would like to address the commission, please sign up before 9:30. A reminder that you will have 5 minutes for public comment or 10 minutes per subject. Abstentions, I would like to review our abstention process. There are commissioners that, because of a land ownership or business interest, or lawyers who may represent clients that may either have some relationship to a matter coming before the commission or have a potential or actual conflict of interest to be considered or voted upon. Commissioners will indicate if he or she chooses to abstain from voting, to recuse himself from participation in such items. If an agenda item is divisible by contract, call, project, or the like, a commissioner may specify that particular matter and then still vote on the remainder of the item. This information is provided to the commission secretary by letter in advance of the meeting. The commission secretary will duly indicate the abstentions or recusals accordingly in the minutes of the meeting. Madam Secretary, have the necessary letters been prepared?
Yes.
Our next item is an action item, the consideration of minutes from the regular meeting on June 5th, 2025, and a special meeting on June 4th of 2025. Does anyone have any changes or additions to the minutes from those meetings? Hearing none, do we have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes as they've been presented?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The The ayes have it, and the minutes are approved. Next, we will consider items on our consent agenda. The consent agenda are items that we will have discussed in advance and consider here. Does anyone wish to remove or discuss later any item on the consent agenda? If not, do we have a motion to approve and second the consent agenda?
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and the consent agenda is approved. Now we'll move to a non-action item, and this is a committee, a report of committees of the board. We start with the audit committee. Commissioners Boatwright, Slay, and Baker serve on the audit committee, and today Commissioner Slay will give the audit committee report.
There is no audit report for this month. The next audit committee meeting will be later this summer.
Very good, thank you. All commissioners are members of its legislative committee, and I and the vice chair serve as co-chairs of the legislative committee. So today Commissioner Boatwright will give the legislative committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Missouri General Assembly completed the objectives outlined in the governor's call for a special session in just 9 days this June. During that time, they passed 3 key bills: Senate Bill 1 addressing the budget considerations, Senate Bill 3 providing tax incentives aimed at retaining Missouri's professional sports teams, and Senate Bill 4 offering aid for severe weather recovery. All 3 bills passed both chambers and have been signed into law by the governor. Looking ahead, there's the possibility of another special session later this year. The General Assembly has expressed interest in addressing what it views as a statewide property tax issue. It remains to be seen whether or not Governor Kehoe will call a second special session to coincide with the veto session in September. On June 30th, the governor signed the fiscal year 2026 state budget totaling $50.8 billion. MoDOT's funding requests were included in the enacted budget. However, the General Assembly approved only approximately 7 to 9 months worth of appropriations. As a result, the department will need to request a supplemental appropriation early in the upcoming legislative session. In addition to a number of the legislatively designated projects were included in fiscal year 2026 budget, with some carried over from fiscal year 2025. The governor has the authority to issue line item vetoes and withholdings, doing so in the department's budget on several highway, riverport, and airport projects. In total, 14 items were vetoed, and the governor also put restrictions on an additional 14 budget items. A list of the line item vetoes and the restrictions can be found at governor.mo.gov. As a recap, during the regular legislative session, 49 House bills and Senate bills were truly agreed and finally passed during the legislative session. As of July 1, Governor Kehoe signed 9 of those bills. He has until July 14th to act on all passed legislation. Unless otherwise specified, signed bills will take effect on August the 28th of this year. With that, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. Next, we'll move to MTFC. Commissioner Smith serves as the president of MTFC, and myself and Commissioner Baker are board members. Today, Commissioner Smith will provide the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is no report this month. The next MTFC meeting will be in August if needed. If not needed, it will be in October of 2025. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Commissioners Boatwright, Hegeman, and I serve on the Emperor's Board. Today, Commissioner Hegeman will provide the report.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the board did meet on June 20th of this year. We had a presentation from Williams Keepers by Nick Mistress and Kristen Brown. Reminded the committee of the requirements for an audit and when it will take place. An annual audit will begin in July. The board accepted the budget for the fiscal year 2026. It was noted that during the meeting that renovations of the 1913 Williams Street are modestly higher than expected, and staff has been diligent in managing the increases to best serve this system. From a legislative standpoint, House Bill 147 was the only pension-related bill that was passed during the 2025 legislative session. Didn't seem to impact MPERS very much, so we weren't too worried about that. The next board meeting for MPERS will be September 18th of this year. So that's the report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Hageman. For the Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety, Commissioner Boatwright will provide the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Missouri Road Coalition for Roadway Safety Executive Committee met on Monday, June 16th. In addition to myself, the committee welcomed the newest members, including MoDOT Director Ed Hassinger, Department of Public Safety Director Mark James, Department of Revenue Director Tris Vincent, Department of Commerce and Insurance Director Angela Nelson, the Superintendent for the Missouri State Highway Patrol Colonel Michael Turner. During the meeting, the committee discussed the goals and objectives of the coalition, including public policy priorities, public awareness initiatives, and importance of local community activities. The committee also discussed the potential of new technologies to help identify, analyze, and address crashes in Missouri. The committee also reviewed the progress report on the coalition's effort to update the state's strategic highway safety plan, Show Me Zero. The new plan will be unveiled this September at the Missouri Highway Safety and Traffic Conference and will focus on 5 key areas. Those 5 areas are safer people, safer vehicles, safer speeds, safer roads, safer response. Finally, the committee will be working to add 2 at-large members from the traffic safety community over the next couple of months. And I will end my report with an update on the traffic fatalities. As of Tuesday, July the 1st, there were 415 traffic fatalities in Missouri this year compared to 422 last year at the same time. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Boatwright. And of course, 1 is too many, but we appreciate the work of the coalition to try to bring that number down over time, and we have made progress over time. We'll turn now to the director's report. The next agenda item is Director Hassinger's report. Ed?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, commissioners, folks in the audience. This is our busy time of year, and we talk a lot about the literally 1,000 plus work zones that go on every day in the state, and that's a result of a lot of hard work of many people that brought revenue to the department and our team that is putting the projects on the ground and doing the operations work that needs to be done to maintain the system. So we are really hoofing it right now every day. You're seeing a lot going on. And in the last month, but I wanted to highlight just a few other things that are going on that may not be so obvious. So middle of last month, I traveled to Washington, D.C. and had the opportunity to meet with staff or members of the Missouri congressional delegation. And I'm going to give a shout out to Patrick Flesh in the back of the room. He was the organizer of this trip, and it was really pretty phenomenal that we actually got to meet with all 10 members and their staff over that 2-day period. We were moving pretty fast through the Capitol in DC. We did get to meet directly with Congressman Onder, Congressman Cleaver, Congressman Graves, and Congressman Smith. And it was a great opportunity for us to discuss what our priorities are for federal reauthorization. For those of you that don't know, the federal bill that provides much of our funding expires in about a year. And so the effort to rewrite the surface transportation bill is underway. And in the House, we are really fortunate that Congressman Graves is going to be leading that effort. So we were putting forward our priorities, and really, if I simplify what MoDOT's position is we believe that formula funds are the best way to put improvements on the ground. And so we were really pushing hard to say, let's make sure that we keep the funding level at least as high as it is today or bigger, and make sure that formula funds are delivered to the state. That's how Missouri wins. Missouri does well in the formula funding arena, and we would like to see that continue. And I think Congressman Graves agrees with that position. So, but we had some really productive meetings with some of the newer members, and I'd say it was a really productive trip to DC, and we will continue to work on that. And we assured all of our congressional delegation that we were going to be fully supportive of reauthorization. And if they had any questions or needed anything to help with that process, our team with our governmental relations team and the rest of our team were there to support that effort. Next, I wanted to talk a little bit about emergency response. You know, this year we have had our share of responding to emergencies, whether it was snow fight in the early part of the year or flooding or severe tornado and wind damage. And it just seems like it's continuing. So I wanted to give a shout out to our Southwest District team for some quick action they took on one of those situations. We had a storm in early June, brought about 7 inches of rain in a short time to Webster County and resulted in some flash flooding that critically damaged a bridge on Route Y. Small route, relatively small bridge, but in that community, a big deal. And what we were really experiencing was people continued to want to drive across this bridge. It happens to be a popular swimming hole also, so there was a lot of activity on warm days. But it got to the point where we put up barricades, they'd pull the barricades down, then we put up rock piles, they'd drive over the rock piles. We finally put up barrier that seemed to slow people down a little bit. But at the end of the day, we finally said, we've got to let an emergency contract to get the bridge out of there. So we did that, and you can see in the before and after kind of what the damage looked like. And then in a couple of days, we had crews in there and removed the bridge. We're currently working on a project to replace that with a full span bridge that we'll let later, really early next year, to put in a full bridge. But just one example of the many responses that have happened over the last 6 months by our team, and they do a great job. So I just want to highlight, and you're going to hear a lot more detail from our planning team and Lance, but this book that's on everybody's desk is the product of a lot of hard work by our planning partners. I saw Sarah's in the room here somewhere. Thank you. But working with all of our planning partners across the state and a lot of our stakeholders to develop our next 5-year plan. So here in this one book is not only the projects that we're going to do, but the operations plan for our maintenance folks that they're going to do over the next 3 years, and then all of our multimodal projects. So anything to do with transit, rail, air, also is in the plan, and that's a really a monumental task to get that ready. $13.2 billion worth of revenue was available, and it's reflected in this one document for the next 5 years. And you're going to hear from Lance and on all the details before you consider that for your approval. But what a shout out to our team and to our partners across the state for getting that done. And then I wanted to end with every year we bring in interns. And so we have about 120-ish interns that are working for MoDOT across the state. And we bring them into an annual conference in Jefferson City as part of their experience with the department. And it's really interesting to watch these people that are trying to figure out what they're going to do with their career. They get an opportunity when they come to work for us. It's not just an orientation internship. We put them to work. They're actually running projects, designing bridges, doing the work that we do under our supervision. We don't just totally let them go. But and we have them across all of our divisions and districts. So what an exciting time to see these young people early in their career trying to figure out what they're going to do. We put them through some mock public meetings during the intern conference and let them see what we deal with when we do public meetings. And some of our team actually played customer and ran them through the ringer, so to speak, on what they were trying to do, and they were trying to look at how they're going to deliver a project. So I think that's just one example. And then they got the opportunity to interact with our team and with each other. And, you know, this is selfish on our part, I'll admit. We use this as our probably number one recruiting tool to bring people into the department. And it gives them an opportunity over summer or summers, depending on if they decide to do this multiple years, to find out if this is where they want to be. And they don't have to make a commitment. And if they find out they don't, that's good, because we've served the public good there too. And they get a great experience. And so it was just really enlightening to see. There's some pictures up here on the wall of them interacting during the conference. And we'll see how many of those we can have leave with an offer of employment when they leave to go back to school, or if this is their last year, we'll give them a job. So that is the end of my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ed. Are there any questions? Comment?
Just a comment, Ed. Thank you for your presentation. I love the approach to the interim conference. I think it gives them a lot of experience of dealing with what we deal with when making these improvements in the community, and hope someday we'll see some of them working at MoDOT. So,
Confident we will.
yeah, hopefully. So it's interesting. I'm glad you're letting them design some bridges. So.
Well, maybe not completely design them, but.
Oh, okay. That's not what you said.
We're letting them work on them.
Oh, okay. But anyway, that's exciting to bring the young folks in like that, but thank you.
Any other questions for the director? Once the legislature adjourns, we take the commission meetings out on the road. Today, we're in Columbia, and it gives us an opportunity to have direct dialogue with local communities and their elected leadership. We're very pleased today to have the new mayor of Columbia. Congratulations. It's great to return to Columbia. It's great to be here at the University of Missouri. For me, it's a bit of a homecoming, and we look forward to learning more about what's going on here in Columbia and what's important to your community.
Well, thank you, Chair. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Columbia. You guys can come back anytime. Please spend money while you're here, though, because sales tax numbers are flat. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity to come. MoDOT is a strong partner with the City of Columbia. I want to give a call out to my Director of Public Works is here. Shane Creech is there. He can wave his hand. Most of your staff know him. And I find, probably like you, surrounding myself with engineers is good to actually design and build the bridges, but they hate to talk. So I'll be talking about that they work on. I just want to acknowledge that we have key transportation priorities in Columbia, and as MoDOT is a strong partner with us, we all want to support safe, inclusive, and future-ready infrastructure. So I'll go over some of the highlights of some of our partnerships, and feel free to ask questions at any time. So up first, I want to say we appreciate the collaboration for the improvements to I-70. Obviously, this is a major thoroughfare that goes through the heart of our city, and so the participation that we've had. And in a moment, the executive director for our Chamber of Commerce will talk about the I-70 enhancements that we're partnering on, and just want to thank you for that improvements. The important thing for us, though, is that this is more than just about traffic flow. It's also about moving communities safely from one place to another. As we think about traffic, we think about safety, we think about access, and we think about equity. So Columbia strongly supports the Complete Streets program. And in our design on that, we work closely with MoDOT to continue the application on this lens as we improve I-70. I want to thank the commission and the staff for the inclusion of pedestrian and multimodal improvements on some of the bridges that we have, and I have a few of those pictures coming up. So as I mentioned, Columbia is dedicated to a multimodal future. We understand that not everybody gets around by just a single automobile, that we have to have options. And so as we think about this network, we think about it's not just drivers. Our residents rely on sidewalks, they rely on bike lanes, and they rely on transit to move them around. And so anytime we have opportunities to enhance these crossings, it helps our community get around. We also think about ensuring ADA accessibility as we are a community that is looking to provide for all, and expanding our bike infrastructure. It helps us meet our public safety goals and our goals for community health. I will say, while I-70 is obviously huge and it's deserved a lot of attention, there's a lot of other MoDOT maintained roads in the city of Columbia. And so we appreciate any investment into the ongoing maintenance of those because I get all of the calls. When people talk about snow removal or about curbs being gone, and I'm like, they don't want to hear it's a MoDOT maintained road. They just want it to be fixed. So we appreciate MoDOT being responsive when I forward those along to them. Places like Stadium, Providence, Route B are all things that I get calls on a lot. And so we urge the continued focus on this maintenance to keep these corridors improved for safety and reliability across our whole network as we connect people and grow. And then when we talk about transportation, it really is a catalyst for growth. And I'm appreciative right now. I know MoDOT is working with us on some improvements to Route B. We have a lot of new investments in economic development happening in that area. And we appreciate the responsiveness to helping us figure out how trucks can get in and out of the new expansion for Schneider Electric, as an example. Our Chamber of Commerce and Matt McCormick, like I said, will speak soon. They will tell you that recognizing the quality of infrastructure, it's foundational to economic development and something that we hear often when businesses are growing in Columbia. From talent recruitment to retail access, these improvements support Columbia's vitality, and our community identifies transportation as a priority, and we're grateful for our role in advancing them. And as we look ahead, Columbia is eager to continue partnering with MoDOT, not just for the improvements to I-70 and enhancements that will happen there, but also our projects on Safe Streets for All and the Reconnecting Communities grant that we're working on in partnership with MoDOT and our federal partners. All of these opportunities, believe coordinated across our state and locally, will help us deliver safer streets, stronger neighborhoods, and smarter growth. And I'll just acknowledge that we work in partnership with this at under the federal rules on safe system approach. And so this idea, and I'm sure this is not new to any of you, it anticipates human error, and it designs roadways to reduce fatal and serious injuries, as you've mentioned as a priority of the commission. It's about shared responsibility between engineers, planners, and policymakers. And then the mindset is how we deliver and design and maintain and advocate for a safer transportation system. Right now, we are currently revising our complete streets policy. This is in partnership with the federal government grant that we received. And as we're doing this policy, it is thinking about how do we update for stronger guidance for local decisions, and this complements MoDOT's SAFER framework. Our goal is to ensure that every transportation investment considers the needs for all of our users. That's pedestrians, cyclists, transit riders, and drivers at every stage. And I just want to point out, these are a couple of the projects that we've been working on where we have, for part of the design build has improvements to these intersections in Columbia. And then we're thankful for the STP cost share program through MoDOT, which allowed us to enhance and add for some of our additional pedestrian needs that are along these bridges that are going to be crossing over I-70. And I just want to call out quickly something that you said, Director, when you talked about advocating at the federal level, and I'll just offer my support. I'm happy. I've recently written messages about the reconciliation bill, about the fact for please continue the funding to come through our state, which is helping to improve transportation in Columbia and throughout the state. So I'll end there and see if there's any questions.
Well, thank you. Thank you. There's certainly a lot going on in Columbia, that's for sure. Let me open it up to any comments or discussion, questions.
First of all, thank you so much, Mayor, for joining us here today. Your presence here is important to us, and I know to your community as well. I can, as a former mayor myself for a number of years, I do appreciate the work you do, the challenges that you have, and to take the time out with us, we very much appreciate. We also appreciate the collaboration, the cooperation that you and your team here provide to the MoDOT team on a day-to-day basis. And that's important to the work that we do, and also helps you all in your planning and in making sure that you get things done right. That directly translates to wonderful improvements happening in the area, and especially want to commend you on your intentional focus on safety on all roads and for users of roads. That's something that's on the top of our minds on a day-to-day basis. Anyone that goes out on the roads knows the challenges, the safety challenges that are out there. We certainly understand it very well, and I know you do as well. That's something we take seriously, and we look forward to continuing our emphasis on safety as we continue to work with you, our team, and your team to help deliver more projects in and around your community. Thank you again for your time.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your service as well.
Other questions? Well, let me just say, I've been following the relationship between the city and the department on all this I-70 stuff we're going on. And I think Columbia may be the model for coordination and collaboration. From what I understand, between the city, the chamber, and the university, there has been enormous collaboration on not only how do we design the very complicated 6370 interchange, which I'm looking at that now and I'm thinking, wow.
I know.
But not only that, I mean, that's a complicated interchange. Not only that, but the collaboration on the experience you have, whether you're a pedestrian, a bicyclist, or a motorist. And from what I understand, the collaboration on those features has been exemplary here in Columbia. So we thank you for that.
I would say thank you. And I think that just shows that's how Columbia is. You know, the university is in the heart of us. The Chamber of Commerce, the business community works very closely with our city government and our professionals on staff. And also give a shout out to Boone County. Our representatives in Boone County advocate for us in Jefferson City, but then also help lead on that collaboration. And that's how we get things done. And that's just local government, which I think you can see is sometimes more functional than other forms.
Yeah. Well, congratulations again on being mayor, and thank you for your time today.
Appreciate being here. Thank you.
So building on that, our next presentation will come from the Columbia Chamber of Commerce. Central District Engineer Michelle Watkins will make the introduction of our speaker. At least that's what the script says.
I can introduce myself, I'm good.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you today Matt McCormick, who is the president of the Columbia Chamber of Commerce and a great partner for MODA.
Thank you.
Well, good morning and welcome. We are proud to have you here in Columbia, and I'll echo what our mayor just said. Make sure you spend money while you're here. And so we are really proud to have you here. We appreciate you being here, and we appreciate the time given to us. Director, thank you for all the support to Columbia and Boone County. You've been a pleasure to work with, and your team is a pleasure to work with. I think you spoke a moment of the collaboration. I think you saw some of that. We're going to go into really kind of the enhancements that we've been working on ICT, but it really has been a collaborative project and a process, not just with the chamber and their city and our county and the university, but a number of our businesses have stepped up to be a part of this project and wanted to be giving back to this project because they understand this is a once-in-a-generation project. At the end of the day, whenever this is all said and done, the next time something like this gets done in our region, most likely none of us will be sitting here. And so we wanted to take the time to make sure we do this well and we make sure we do this right. And so what we started was, I wanted to go through, I was asked to give some comments on the enhancements and where we're at with this. So I wanted to talk a little bit where we started, where we are, and where we're going with this. So where we started is we went back to 2023. I think December of 23 was our first meeting over this. The idea at that point was just Highway 70 and 63, or Interstate 70 and 63, that interchange with the flyovers. There was a lot of community meetings with MoDOT. And so what is this? We had the opportunity. Sometimes our great community is sometimes hidden by an aging highway and an aging interstate. So we had the opportunity whenever I-70 and 63 projects started and that funding was there, how can we build on top of the great work that MoDOT's doing? And so we started that process with ourselves and our Convention and Visitors Bureau, along with the city, the county, and the university, along with a number of other organizations like our Loop CID, our downtown groups, our different organizations like that coming together as one body to start talking through this process. What could this look like? So a lot of great work. The city was kind enough, they reached out, they hired a consultant to help start going through that process. We went through that, and what we wanted to design was something that could be expanded, something that we could grow off of as a community. And so the idea was, if I-70 was to ever get funded and if I-70 was to ever be done, how can we take what we're doing with 63 and I-70 and expand that out, but also expand it down 63 north and south in the future as things happen, and maybe even stadium or range line. Where could this, making sure that this is something that wasn't a one and done, but something that really could be a part of our community. So we started that process, and we started going through some enhancements, and these are some of the things that we started taking a look at. And if you take a look, these are actually two different styles of bridges. They are kind of a contemporary and traditional. We leaned more towards the traditional. I'll go through some of the more details that we started taking a look at, but how can we take these bridges? And at this point, we were still talking about I-70 and 63, and I believe the word SPUI was thrown around a lot, and I don't actually know what that, I used to know what that stood for. I learned a whole new vocabulary when we started working on this. But some of the things we started leaning towards from this, of course, we lean probably more a little towards the black and gold highway signage, give a little nod to our university without a doubt. But two elements to really talk about was one that, but then also the other were the end pieces that you see as monuments there. That has changed through the time. But really just to give it a more modern update look, a more traditional look that can be pulled throughout our highway, down our highway as things were starting to progress and go through. So one of the things that we really started, this is kind of gives you more of a closer detail of what that looks like. The part that I wanted to hit on real fast was instead of those monuments, look at that bottom left corner, what we call our light boxes. What that is something special for really our bookend bridges, if you will, because that is something that really we want to be able to highlight. You see it with a tree there that's supposed to show the big birch. If you're familiar with our area, you know about our big, sorry, not our big birch, our big bur oak. You know about our big bur oak. You know that the history and the strength from that and what it means to our community. So we have that, but we've also talked about other highlights, you know, maybe the columns, maybe the Jesse domes and things along those lines. Something to go on the end caps of those bridges so that you know whenever you're in Columbia, you know when you're in Boone County, and you know what how proud we are of our community. And of course, the black and gold, you see the roundabouts, the light poles, the wrought iron fence. We also wanted to be careful in understanding that things happen. We didn't want to go so custom that if and when an accident happens, takes out part of a fence, it's so customized we can't get it back. So we wanted to make sure that we're being very traditional in that, but also very cost efficient and effective with the dollars that we have. So where we're at now, as you know, I-70 started and is moving forward, and all of I-70 got funded with the portion through Columbia being one of the more populous portions of I-70 and through Boone County. So the nice thing was how we prepared was how we could continue moving forward. So we started moving forward with how do we pull this down east and west on I-70. You know, so we started the funding process for I-70 and 63. The city put money forward, the county put dollars forward for local dollars, the university put dollars forward, and then the chamber went out and recruited about 10 businesses to put money forward for this project. So there really is a local buy-in to what you are doing, a local buy-in to the importance of I-70 through our community. That has continued moving forward as we move down I-70 and 63. What we did have to do is we had to start breaking things into integrated and non-integrated enhancements, be a little more efficient and effective with our dollars. Taking a look, the integrated being things that your contractors had to have be built in whenever they're building the facility, when they're building the highway. The non-integrated being items that we can add, thinking landscape, things along those lines, that we can add at a later point as we continue moving forward. These are all the bridges or overpasses or underpasses that we are going to be touching. Not everything's going to have, not every bridge is going to have every item. Some of them will be the form liners with some fencing, won't have the light boxes. It just kind of depends what is at and where those are. And then we go to the Rocheport Missouri River Bridge and up to 63. This, what we're here locally kind of calling phase 2. I know MoDOT's not calling it phase 2 here locally. For us, it is. It's our second portion of it, which really goes through the heart of Boone County and Columbia. And what does that mean? And really taking a look at what are all those bridges, overpasses, underpasses that are going to be hit through there. Kind of the bookend bridges being 63 and Stadium, and taking a look at what the enhancements are there from that. So that's kind of a little bit of history, where we're at, where we're going. We are in the process of putting together a task force to do a local capital raise, capital fund campaign to help get local dollars to help do this and move this forward. So we can't say thank you enough to our partners. We can't say thank you enough to our business community to step forward. And we also can't say thank you enough real fast to the MoDOT team that's working on this, Eric Kapinski, that's leading this. That team has been fantastic. They truly have jumped into what we believe partnerships that what make Columbia and Boone County great. They've jumped into those partnerships, willing to sit down with any and every business that's located on I-70. What does this mean for them, and what does that look like? So Eric Kapinski and his team has been fantastic. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Yeah, that's fantastic, Dan.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate the update and
Yes.
what you got going on here. It looks like you got some great things going on. I love the collaboration. I love
Yes.
the cooperation, the collaboration, bringing all the entities together to make this move forward and enhance your community.
Yeah.
We do a lot of that up my way as well in
Yes, we
St.
do.
Joe, and we're pretty proud of that. And so, and it really, makes a community when you do that, and the mayor as well. One group that you failed to mention, I would ask you to thank your legislators as well.
Yes, thank you. for
The
that.
former legislators as well as the present
Yes.
legislative delegation, because we wouldn't be able to do the I-70 project if it wasn't for the
Exactly
legislators that helped make that happen. And so, but anyhow, doing wonderful things. Had opportunity to drop some money to you last night, so
Yes.
appreciate that. And
We
so
do appreciate it.
it's always nice to be welcomed here in Columbia.
Yeah, and thank you for pointing that out, my mistake that I didn't and I should have, but our legislators really did step up, especially our delegation here. But the nice thing that we saw was even those outside of Boone County and across the state really stepped up to make this happen, understand the importance of it. So we appreciate it. We appreciate you staying here last night. Thank you.
Yeah, let's, any other comments, questions, commissioners? That's just awesome. Thank you. Oh, Ed?
Well, I'd just like to thank Matt, because when we started this, he said, hey, we want to do something, we don't know what. But his foresight to start early and to bring stakeholders to the table, not knowing what the outcome was going to be, but that was quite an effort on your part. And I remember the meeting at the hospital when Michelle and I and you had a group, and we started trying to figure out what this could look like and what the possibilities were. And so it's great to see how that's come together. But kudos to you for being the leader on that.
Well, thank you. I wish I could take all the credit. We had a lot of good people that really stepped up to make that happen and understand. Again, this is a once in a generation project. That if we're going to do this, we've got to do it now. We've got to do it right. So thank you. Thank y'all.
Other questions? Well, Matt, this is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm being from Kansas City. I'm feeling a little guilty here that we didn't quite jump on this like Columbia did, but congratulations, and the outcome's going to be spectacular.
We're excited to see where this lands and know it's going to land in a great place for everybody. So we appreciate it.
Great work. Thank you. Our next agenda item is a public presentation from the Missouri Civil and Environmental Engineering here at the University of Missouri. And Director Hassinger, will you make the introduction?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So it's my honor to introduce to you Praveen Adara. Dr. Adara is the chair of the Mizzou Civil Engineering and Civil and Environmental Engineering Department. And Praveen has been a great partner for MoDOT. He was one of the leaders when we were trying to put together the MCTI initiative. You're going to hear more about the research that they're doing here at the university, but he was a critical leader in making that happen. So thanks for that leadership. And then, of course, he is one of the people that is producing one of the most important products that we consume, which is the engineering horsepower and the people that we hire to do our work. So some of those interns I mentioned in the intern conference were none other than your students here at the university. And so we are thrilled that you're educating the next generation of engineers that's going to take the reins in the transportation arena. So Dr. Adara.
Thank you, Ed. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Commissioners, Director Hassinger, visitors, and MoDOT partners. Welcome to Mizzou. And we are grateful for all the work you do for the state in providing us a safe transportation system that's also very efficient. So welcome again to Columbia. The next 10 minutes, I want to share how Mizzou, especially the Mizzou Civil and Environmental Engineering Department, is playing its part in helping you support your mission of providing a safe and efficient transportation system for all Missourians. So at Mizzou, we are steeped in history. And that applies to our department as well. We are the first to offer a civil engineering degree west of the Mississippi River. So that goes back to the middle 1800s. And since then, we've been producing excellent civil engineers that go on to serve the state, be it in the public sector or the private sector. So we currently have undergraduate degree programs in civil engineering And as of last year, we just started an environmental engineering degree program as well. And there is a new degree program in construction management, given the demand, not just in the state, but nationally in construction disciplines. We listen to our students, what their interests are, and we're going to offer one. It's going through the approval process soon enough. We expect to offer a BS in construction management as well. We are supported by 20 excellent tenure track faculty who do both research and teaching, and several other research faculty supported by federal, state, and industry grants. Any given day, we have over 400 students that grace our hallways and classrooms, eager to learn how to design bridges, how to time traffic signals, how to provide flood mitigation and control for our state. We have engineering is very good at placing students in jobs, and civil engineering in particular has been excellent the last few years. In fact, last year, we placed 98.5% of our student body in either a full-time job upon graduation or master's degree programs. So that's just how good the market is and how excellent our students are. And this also shows in the talent we are able to attract for you all for the future. So the high school students, coming fall, we have a 30% increase in students who are choosing civil or environmental engineering major. So there'll be 100 new students who will be walking through our hallways starting next month, late next month. So between us and our sister campus, S&T, I think it's safe to say we probably educate most of the civil engineering workforce in our great state. So we continue to do that for years to come. If you could, yeah, thank you. We also believe in partnerships at MU, just like what the mayor and Matt mentioned earlier. The city of Columbia does. We do the same. We look at industry and the public sector. We bring them to our campus to mentor our students, for them to experience what it is like once they graduate. So this is just one example that we launched in 2019, a construction management industry consortium, where we bring together a lot of our construction industry partners, be it contractors, consultants, the public sector, to provide guidance to our students and also our faculty on what curriculum is timely, how do we adapt to the current, be it alternative project delivery methods or new construction technologies, so that our faculty can offer things that are more relevant for the workforce of tomorrow. So, and this has served its mission. As I mentioned earlier, we are now scaling up from what used to be a construction management minor to a full-fledged bachelor's, that's 120 credit hour program. And without this industry partnership, I don't think we would have been successful at even thinking of launching such programs. So, our faculty are also continuously innovating in the classroom, finding ways to better teach civil engineering concepts. Although some of the concepts we teach, they don't change, the bending moment diagrams, the shear stresses, they're still the same as what people have taught since the 1900s. But the way we teach them, with the technologies we use, the tools we use, has definitely evolved and continues to evolve. And this is one example where our faculty are leveraging new generative AI tools that many of us use, like ChatGPT and Gemini. But in this case, they're integrating these actively into the classroom, into the curriculum. The way we teach a structural analysis class tomorrow is very different from what we taught 5 years ago, because there is so much more in terms of AI that's available to help the student view the same problem from different angles, right? So we are trying to leverage that at this point. So more than half our department are revising their curriculum this fall and the following spring semester. As one of the 38 public universities that is part of the prestigious AAU, research is top priority for us. You probably heard President Choi and Provost Martins mention this in public meetings. It's very important for us. And the department, Civil and Environmental Engineering Department, has played its part. As you can see, in the past 5 years, we have more than tripled our research expenditures. We have faculty who serve on national committees, be it transportation, geotech, seismic committees, structural analysis committees, and so on. And also want to thank, I listed 3 centers there. So the timing of these centers also matched the past 5 years or so. They've all been launched during this period. And a lot of it has to do with Ed's vision and the commission's vision, particularly Missouri Center for Transportation Innovation is a great example of partnership with S&T, UMKC, UMSO, where we brought together all the talents within the state to deliver on how do you solve the key transportation challenges, be it zero fatalities, how do you achieve zero deaths, efficient mobility in urban areas, access for rural areas, and so forth. So, and the last time I was in front of this esteemed group, I spoke about the Missouri Work Zone Safety Center of Excellence. That was a year ago when we just launched that. And I'll have a slide later on to show you how far we have come ahead in providing service, not just for the state, but some of the manuals we're producing are at a national level, supported by federal highways in NCHRP. We're also making progress in the water area. Missouri Water Center is something we launched in partnership with our ag school. That's the beauty of being on a flagship and land-grant campus where every area of expertise is available within, in case of engineering, 10 minutes walking distance, right? So we built that partnership with the ag school, Department of Natural Resources, again, to address the pressing water needs in the state, flood management, mitigation, water quality, and so on. The next couple of minutes, I want to highlight the research success of a few of our faculty, just to give you some examples on things that my group is working on. First is Professor Sarah Orton. So she's an international expert in disproportionate collapse. So when buildings, these are large multi-story structures, she studies how these buildings collapse progressively and cascading effects of failure and so forth. And she has chaired ASCE committees on disproportionate collapse. She's a sought-after expert whenever there is a natural disaster or a building collapse. So she's all trying to explain what may have happened and how do you mitigate those going forward. And her research has been supported, continues to be supported through MoDOT, National Science Foundation, and other federal and state agencies. I mentioned the Water Center. Dr. Balwin Deng directs that in partnership with the Ag School. There are close to 20 faculty who are actively working in different areas of water. So this center wants to be all things water for the state, right? So we want to be that go-to resource, and that's housed right here to provide guidance for the public. On transportation, on the MCTI side, Professor Yao Adujelfi is leading a national pool fund study. And again, this is one of MoDOT's brainchild. MoDOT is the lead state for this pool fund. There are about 10 states with more showing interest, where we're trying to optimize how do you collect and disseminate both public and private sector data, for example, coming from all the autonomous vehicles, right? The traffic signal data or connected vehicle data, infrastructure data. We want to have that warehouse right here that will then be disseminated to any app developers or people working on improving safety. Okay, so again, kudos to MoDOT for conceiving the idea and having us support this program. Professor Bill Butler, he is an expert in materials. He has been looking at how do you use recycled materials such as polymers and plastics to produce stronger and longer lasting pavements. So if you, to get here, if you draw one stadium, part of that between 63 and Providence is one of the materials that he developed in the lab here at MU. So, and it's going really well. So he's working on newer materials for pavements, both highways and airfields. And I want to close with the Missouri Work Zone Safety Center of Excellence work. Again, very thankful for MoDOT for partnering with us on this initiative. It's very timely given the I-70 construction that we'll be seeing and all the work zones Ed mentioned earlier, the thousands of work zones that'll go on this summer. I listed a few projects here. So we are helping not just the state, as you can see from the sponsors, Federal Highways is a big sponsor, on how do we offer new training methods for the next generation workforce. We started with MoDOT, but we scaled it up to all 50 states using virtual reality now, right? We are trying to build guidance for how to conduct process reviews, work zone process reviews for quality control. And there are so many more examples locally on partnering with the towing industry, how to quickly clear incidents on I-70 during the construction. So that's one of the other projects we're working for MoDOT through this center. So very timely and very high impact research going on right here on Mizzou campus. So once again, I want to thank everything that you do to provide us a safe and efficient transportation system, and we're glad to play a small part in helping you serve that mission. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Comment, question?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Adair, thank you and the university for hosting us this week. It's been great to be on the campus, beautiful campus. You know, the work that you're doing with work zone safety, with the MCTI, you know, it's great to see that we are tapping a resource that we have right here in Missouri with the 4 universities to be able to drive innovation, to use our experts and make our system better right here at home. I mean, that to me is a huge stride in itself, and your leadership has certainly had a big part in that. So thank you for that. I was very interested in the slide that you had about the AI initiative, because I think you're spot on with your assessment there. You know, the biggest question in my mind is how do we bridge AI into day-to-day operations within these systems that we have in place, and what that looks like for the future. And the MoDOT team that's in the room, I mean, this has been a topic of discussion that I've brought up several times because it's not the same world that we lived in 5 years ago. It's a much different world, and how we adapt to that, I think it could set the tone for the rest of the country. Missouri is certainly in a position with the experts and the people in place to be able to drive that innovation, to figure out how to make our roads safer, how to make our system work better, how to make our bridges more structurally viable for a longer period of time, stretch the use out of it. So I think there's a huge opportunity there. And with that, I'll land the plane here. Just thank you again, and really appreciate all you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Boatwright. I think the AI, we're also learning at the same time as students, but instead of being afraid, we want to embrace it.
Absolutely.
So that we can train the workforce, because they're ready, they're eager to use these tools. And for us, it would be foolish not to take advantage of all the good things that it can offer in terms of training. And going back to your comment on Work Zone Center of Excellence, we appreciate the support, but we also want to thank MoDOT's vision on the timeliness of the center, right? So when Ed and I talked, and that was when Patrick was also still with MoDOT, I think just to see, okay, I-70 is coming up, and then having the center right here, middle of I-70 corridor with all these access to these work zones. So I think the vision, I'm very thankful for your leadership, Commission's leadership, and MoDOT's leadership for seeing the opportunity and tasking us to serve in that role to help the state. So very appreciate it.
Yeah, the timing and the coordination, big deal, Director. So thank you and your team. And, you know, we've got a real-time playground right here with this I-70 work going on to be able to learn and to make our work zone safer. So, no, I'm spot on. Thank you.
Other commissioners? Ed, anything from you?
We just appreciate the partnership. Definitely Praveen's leadership and his willingness to help coordinate the rest of our 4 campuses together has been kind of selfless on his part, and he's taken that on and been one of those folks. So thanks for doing that.
MIZ.
COU.
Well,
Thank you very much. It's great to be here at the university, and Ed's an alumnus of your program, so we appreciate the pipeline of talent that you've provided us, present and future. Okay, thank you. The next agenda item, Danica is here to present our consideration of bids for transportation improvements. Danica, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Chairman Urban, Commissioners, and Dr. Hassinger.
Yeah.
For the June 20th, 2025 bid opening, we received 43 bids on 19 calls. We recommend to award all calls to the lowest responsive bidder except for call C09 in the Kansas City District. We recommend the award of this call be contingent upon receiving additional funding. Also, we recommend that the Commission ratify the emergency project in the Southwest District that was awarded by Southwest District Engineer Stacy Reese on June 13, 2025 for the urgent removal of culvert damaged by flooding. This concludes our recommendations.
Thank you, Danica, and job well done again. Are there any questions, additions, or corrections to the proposed bids? Hearing none, we have a motion for approval and a second. Motion? And
Second.
I guess we got the second. Thank you. Okay, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, and they are approved. Do we have a budget update?
Yes. Today's awards and the fiscal year 2026 awards is $73.7 million, which is a savings of 18.3%, 16.7 million under budget on 90.4 million.
Very good. Well, thank you again for the fine work you do, and just keep them coming.
All right, thank you.
Mhm. Next is a non-action item. We'll have an update from the Central District, and Central District Engineer Michelle Watkins will provide us an update. Michelle?
Good morning.
Good
Welcome. Chairman Erdman, Commissioners, Ed, welcome to the Central District. We're really glad you're here. Just a little bit about the Central District, just to remind you, we are the 18th central most counties of the state. Our 547 employees serve almost 700,000 Missouris in our region, and we do so on 11,600 lane miles. Time and time again, Missourians have told us that taking care of the system is a priority for them. And so we put a lot of effort and a lot of resources towards doing that. And I'm really proud to say that we're delivering on those expectations. Our major roadways conditions are slightly above what our statewide goals are. Our minor roadways are also. And I think the real success story here is on our low volume minor roadways, we're significantly over the statewide goal. And that's due in part to 2 contributions. One, the Commission's action on the Asset Management Deficit Program and the Governor's Rural Routes Program. We've seen about a 20-point increase in about 5 years on these routes. So a lot of progress. And we are incredibly thankful for it. And I know that our citizens are also. We have 1,303 bridges on our Central District system. 88 poor condition, that's pretty consistent of what the statewide condition is on bridges also. We have strong relationships with our planning partners in Central District. They really do the lion's share of the work in identifying needs for the high priority unfunded needs list, and also in helping prioritize projects. We find funds available for the STIP. And the STIP that comes to you today was developed in coordination with these planning partners in the Central District. They include the Mid-Missouri Regional Planning Commission that you see in blue. We also have the link of the Ozarks Council of Local Governments, you see there in purple. We have the Merrimack Regional Planning Commission in green, and we also have 2 metropolitan planning organizations. We have the Capital Area MPO that's in the Jefferson City area, and we have the Columbia Area Transportation Study Organization from right here in the city. So we're incredibly appreciative for that partnership. I do want to take some time though today and highlight some of the exciting work that we have going on in the Central District. The Improve I-70, the first project of that program, was awarded in the Central District. I know Eric Mhtc is going to highlight on that later, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it when I was talking about exciting work, right? Our Rocheport Bridge was just completed. A lot of work and effort that went into that, a lot of forethought. We'll have 3 lanes when the adjoining sections of I-70 are complete on that bridge, but right now it's striped for 2 lanes. We have a tremendous amount of work going on in relation to sidewalk improvements. We have 25 communities that are seeing that during this construction season. Some of that's in coordination with some of the resurfacing work that's done. Some of that is directly related to our American with Disabilities Act transition plan. And so we are on target for delivering the expectation on that plan by 2027. We have some intersection improvements underway in Lynn, Missouri on Route 50 at the intersection of CC and State Tech. Here we'll see some roadway widening, additional lanes, signals, sidewalk improvements, all of which will, and resurfacing, that will provide much better traffic flow for that location and provide for less congestion when that work is completed. We have improvements on the eastern side of the interchange of Route 63 and AC here in Columbia. That work is well underway, and that will greatly reduce congestion that's experienced in morning and evening rush hours in particular on a daily basis. And a large portion of our STIP program is about asset management. Talk about those system condition goals, and it takes a lot of effort to do that. We have 738 miles of roadway resurfacing, 328 miles of Governor Rural Roads Program, 182 of sealing operations, and we have 37 bridges underway either for rehabilitation or reconstruction. That's more than $100 million worth of work during this season in relation to just maintaining right system condition goals. But we also have some work that is still in the design process, hadn't quite started yet, but it's worth mentioning. We have a safety project that provides for a highway and railroad grade separation near Cadet, Missouri, that will eliminate that at-grade crossing, and it will take Route 47 over the railroad. That's actually being funded through a railroad grant and with some contributions from Union Pacific. We have expansion of the roadway in Camdenton from Route 5, the business Route 5 that is, to the western city limits. That'll be expanded to 2 lanes along with the center turn lane. And you just awarded that project today. We have widening on Route 54 westbound that will reduce congestion and improve safety there. And we'll also see some interchange improvements associated with Route W. And we have corridor improvements coming up on Route 63, just south of Route 50 in Osage County to just south of Westphalia. That is planned to be awarded in 2028. And we have the next sections of the Improve I-70 program coming up in our region, the Rocheport to Columbia and also the Boonville to Rocheport. And you all should be seeing action on that in the next 6 to 7 months. And I'm sure Eric's going to highlight more about that, so I won't spend any more time on it. In addition to the STIP projects, we have a lot of work performed by our employees in operations. We have 123,000 tons of asphalt pavement repair we did over the last year, and we're on target for that this year also. We had 2,800 plus tons of pothole patching last year, and well on our way to the same this year. This year we've made more progress on noxious weed sprays. We've had 15,000 acres so far this year, well above what we did last year.
Wow.
We had 15,000 plus square footage of signs installed last year, and we're well on our way to a similar amount this year too. Striping, We completed 7,500 plus miles last year. This year, we're closer to 1,000 miles. We've had a little setback in terms of weather and some of our equipment, but we've made significant progress in the last few weeks, and we'll be gaining on that as the season moves on. Litter pickup has required a lot of effort. This year, we've had more than 20,000 labor hours, and that's above what we had all of last year. So a lot of work goes into keeping those roadsides looking clean. And mowing. Last year, we did close to 28,000 miles. This year, we'll accomplish the same. Sealing operations, last year we had more than 500 lane miles completed. This year, our plan is for about 300. And I love to take a steamy day in July and reflect on the cold winter months. We spent 90,000 hours last year on winter operations, and this month we begin our preparations for next season already to be sure that we're successful and that we have a good plan underway. I want to talk a little bit about safety. Safety is part of our culture. You all talk about it all the time. It's part of everything from how we prioritize needs to how we design projects, how we construct them, and how we maintain and operate that system. But I want to highlight a different kind of safety improvement here and a focus, and that is on driver behavior. We had a traffic garden that was held at Bell Elementary School this spring, and it was done with a grant from the Governor's Highway Association and the National Road Safety Foundation. But really, we went in and with the coalition and painted a traffic system on their playground. They walked it, they learned about what the striping meant and what the signs meant. They were taught bicycle safety, and they were able to bike that. They had great fun with it. And it got to lead into conversations about driver safety, right? About always wearing your seatbelt when you're in the vehicle, about not driving distracted, putting your phones down. And we're really building that behavior in that next generation of drivers, and we're doing it in a fun way that really sticks with them. Innovations is part of our culture also, and I really wanted to highlight some of the innovations that were recently winners in the Innovations Challenge this spring. Here we have the flush-mounted tractor lights from our Rolla crew that was a big winner. We have the tack oil sprayer that was a winner that came out of our Columbia facility. We have the power line marker that came out of our Potosi facility. And the big winner was the paver lookout that was brought forward by our St. Robert facility. And so each of these winners were able to bring back money to their facilities where they could dedicate it towards the maintenance and operation in their region. They were really excited about that, but the big win is they came back with new innovations from others. They're no doubt going to work to try and improve upon and bring forward new innovations next year. And I want to talk a little bit before I wrap up about success on recruitment and retention. The Commission's action to implement pay plan efforts really made a difference in Central District in a really great way. We spent last year really trying to recruit. This year, we've actually been able to maintain staffing at about 98%. I don't think it gets any better than that with just the job fill process. That's kind of a healthy position to be at. We had 63 separations and 74 new hires. So we have a lot of emphasis now on retention. And retention in the form of good quality candidates that are coming in, proper training, a sense of belonging and welcoming for those individuals, making them part of the team early, challenging and rewarding work. And that's what this program really provides for now. And not just a job with MoDOT, right? A chance for a career, a place that they can grow, and really helping them through that process and see where they want to grow to and give them opportunities to do that. So those are some of the highlights of what's going on in Central District, and I'd be happy to any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Michelle. Do we have any questions or comments?
No, just a comment, Mr. Chairman. Michelle, it just hadn't been very long ago, we were having 163 separations and 40 new hires. So that's great news, and staffed at 98%. That's wonderful.
And it is at Central District. I won't say that it's
Yeah,
that
no,
way
I
statewide,
understand
but we have really seen great success from that.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. Thank you for your good work. Thank you for
Appreciate
your
time.
presentation.
Mr. Chairman?
Henry? Yeah.
Yes. Tremendous presentation, Michelle. Thank you so much. You have 11,000 lane miles, and you put a lot of activity on each one of those this morning with your report. Really exciting what's going on here in Mid-Missouri, not only the I-70 project, but rural bridges and everything in between. Clearly, you guys are really getting it done, and I love the focus on the innovation. You also take time for the windshield type issues, the maintenance issues that are also very important to the public. So you've checked all the boxes, I think, and congratulations to you and the team for the approach that you have and the culture that you've obviously created here in Mid-Missouri. It's very evident. We're happy to visit today and to learn more about that, but we really appreciate the report as well and hitting the high points. I know there's a lot you didn't have time to mention, but thanks for everything that you do. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you for those kind words. It is an honor to work with the team that I do each and every day. They care about doing the right thing for the right reasons, and they always are looking for better ways to do their jobs. Appreciate it.
Ed, any questions from you?
Well, I think it's just, when you hear all of it together, right? We focus on sometime on a project or an emergency response, and when Michelle puts it all together, everything from the sidewalk in Meta to mowing the grass, to picking up the litter, to I-70, it shows you the range and talent of the team that we have and the leadership that happens through Michelle's leadership and the district's leadership to get a lot of stuff done. And it's more than just the project, right? It's all the stuff together, and we do that all over the state.
Well, I wanted to thank you for the collaboration and the model you provided to us all, the collaboration you've had here in Columbia. It's been spectacular. I think it's the best I've seen, and thank you and your team for that. Thanks for all you do in the district right here in the center of the state, especially the lake area. Appreciate all that effort. So if no one has anything else, thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Next agenda item is a non-action item. Eric Kapinski is our I-70 project director, and Eric will provide an update on the I-70 project. Eric?
Good morning, Chairman Erdman, Commissioners, Director Hassinger. I will tack on to what already's been shared with I-70 and kind of give more of a statewide update for where we stand with our program. It's been almost 25 months since Governor Parsons and many of our state and local elected officials put forth the funding for I-70. That was a historic moment because this is a corridor we've been studying as a state for the last 30 years. It's one of the oldest interstates in the country. And it's also one of the most important for the state, but also the region and nationally. But we were here in Columbia a little over a year ago celebrating the groundbreaking. And so we've done a lot of work since then, and we're going to provide you an update. I think what the most important aspect from our team, though, is we will continue to show this slide until we cut our final ribbon, but keeping focus on staying on time and on budget is paramount to our project team, our program team. As I talk across the country to my counterparts, individuals from DOTs that are leading major projects, this is a real challenge to stay on time and on budget. And a lot of that's driven by political pressures or pressures from the DOT. So the stability we have from our state and local elected officials and the commission has really allowed us to stay on schedule and on budget. So if there's no bigger takeaway today, we're on schedule to deliver this with the historic funding we do have. Something we continue to try to do is we try to leverage this historic funding. This is mostly state general revenue funds, and we look on a daily, weekly, monthly basis with our government relations team, our financial service team, how do we leverage these funds? And an opportunity that seems to be a popular playbook around the country is there's a federal grant program. And so when we were 2 months into this program and we had only 2 or 3 team members, we decided we were going to go all in and try to really appeal to DC to let's try to bring back as much money as we can. So if you go to our project website, we now just in the last week, yesterday, launched this kind of better explanation for where this $92 million that we were able to bring back is going. And And so we work on a weekly basis with our federal highway partners in Missouri to try to navigate this grant process and our grant program that we were awarded. But it's very complicated, and we're really happy to utilize this money. We're also looking for future opportunities as well for what other grant opportunities come, and it's something we have our pulse on. The director talked earlier today about going to Washington, D.C., and we have good contacts there as well, and we're trying to leverage any opportunity we can to really grow this funding. I'm now going to give a quick update on where we stand with our projects that are active and the projects that we're currently designing and in procurement for. You've heard a number of times the talk about the Columbia to Kingdom City project, and we have over $100 million of high quality improvements that have been made in the last year. We're at warp speed, we're on time, on schedule. We could really use a break from the rain. So anyone traveling through this area, we got some of the best corn and some of the best beans from the property owners nearby, but our crews could use a really dry, warm, hot July and August to keep the paving crew moving. But every night, every day, we're out there paving, working on bridges, and we have a great contractor and design team at Millstone, Weber, and Jacobs really delivering this project. There was previous presentations from the chamber with Matt, the mayor, with the city, but I don't think they truly highlighted or sold the fact that they've really came to the table with their leadership group. So we meet with them almost weekly, monthly, however often, but it is very frequent. But they bring decision makers to the table, and they're quick to bring real dollars to the table and help provide direction to us. And that's really important. We're seeing that across the state, but that ability to move quick is a priority to us, to our team, and to our projects. So we do appreciate those ongoing partnerships, and we're excited to continue to make progress on this project. In November of last year, we awarded what was our largest single project in MoDOT's history. At a little over $600 million, this project was awarded to Emery Sapp Clarkson with designers H&TB, Bartlett West, and we are fully underway with this project. This is starting to transform the area, and we're moving so fast that even in the last 2 weeks, so when we turn in this presentation, we now have pavers fully operational and are laying down pavement every night in that area. So as anyone traveling through that area will see, this will continue to take shape, and we'll continue to make really good progress. In this project, we have 22 bridges that we're replacing or providing substantial improvements. So it's just not pavements, it's interchanges, it's bridges. There's a overall safety component that we're really improving outside of adding that third lane and replacing the existing pavement. As we go to the project that we came to you for approval in May, just a couple months ago, we awarded this project to the Rademacher and Eidecker team with the design firm Wilson. We have public meetings next month where we'll be sharing more information about this, but construction for this project will start in early September. Again, as we talk across the country to other DOTs and other contractors, that turnaround period from award to they have shovel on the ground and they're really doing substantial bridge work and paving work, that 4-month period for turnaround for our process is pretty well unheard of. We have other states calling saying, how do you guys have such quick turnarounds? And it's really a testament to our contracting and design communities that are ready to hit the ground running on these projects. But this project from Blue Springs to Odessa will see substantial work taking place, construction impacts starting in early September. For projects that are currently under procurement and we're working on, today our entire team is in the middle of a confidential one-on-one meeting with our shortlisted teams. So everybody else is busy help delivering the project. But we have this project that we're going to be coming to you in December for award. And we're really excited for this because this will kind of cap in from where Roachport that Michelle talked about to our project at 6370 that we have under construction. And we have 3 really, really competitive teams. And we have the perfect storm, we feel like, to deliver this and get some substantial value to the Columbia area. I would like to highlight and draw recognition to our team that's worked hard. This will be our 4th procurement that we will come to you for award on. That will be our 4 largest projects as we look at our top 10 largest projects MoDOT's ever delivered. This will be 4 of the top 10 that we've delivered, and the procurement times are razor thin that we're going back to back to back to back. And so that time and effort, there's a lot of long nights and weekends that is being delivered from our team and from industry to help deliver that. So we're really excited for the value we're going to get with this award to you in December. As we laid out our initial schedule, we had 6 projects across the state. And some early contractor feedback to us was, why don't we break them up a little bit and allow some of our smaller contractors to participate or allow the opportunity to do that. So we took that to heart, and we have what will be a January letting for a traditional design bid build, where we go through the design division and go through our letting process. And we will do that with this Boonville to Roachport. So by February of next year, we will have under contract from Boonville all the way to Kingdom City that will really allow that transformational section to really be under construction. We have a public meeting coming up for this project, but we're doing a lot of contractor outreach to the contractors saying, this is a really good project. If you're interested in paving asphalt or concrete, you should get your eyes on this plan set and give us a good bid. There's been a number of mentions on public outreach. Our team continues to try to take as grassroots of an effort as possible for a 200-mile project. And we've done a number of statewide meetings, a number of industry outreach, and we continue to reach out to a number of customers that call with recommendations, concerns, complaints. We have 3 public meetings that are going to be taking place in the near future. These projects will be focused on the projects in those backyards, but we'll have members, myself included, that'll be there to talk about the whole statewide program. So anybody that's not able to view the information on the website or wants to come talk to MoDOT in person, we welcome you to do that. But our Boonville to Roachport project, we will have a public meeting in July 21st at the Boonville High School. And then we'll have the Odessa and Blue Springs public meeting dates on August 4th and August 5th. So we're really excited to kind of highlight the local partnerships, the local support we have for these projects, and really engage with the local community, the businesses, the residents, and really highlight how these projects will impact them, how they'll benefit them when we're complete, and just what is our playbook for how we're going to move forward. So that communication to the public is paramount as we move forward. For anybody that does not have enough information, we'd encourage you to snipe that QR code with your phone. You can easily sign up for as many press releases as you want across the state. We have them broken down by project, but you can sign up for every one if you want to get informed for what's happening on I-70 as we move forward with any traffic impacts. The next thing I want to share is we started this new feature, and Ed was the first one to jump out on the ledge and do it, but our communications lead, Lauren McGregor, really brainstormed this, and she said, we need to highlight some of the stories that are happening from I-70. So I want to share with you our project manager for our first project here in Columbia, the Kingdom City.
MoDOT's $2.8 billion Improve I-70 program will add a 3rd lane and make other improvements to I-70 across the state. This is a massive undertaking that is made possible by Missouri's General Assembly, and one that requires the coordination of thousands of people across multiple agencies. In this video series, MoDOT will be showcasing the variety of people working to bring the expansion of I-70 to life. This is Beyond the Barrels.
My name is Brandy Broccoli, and I work for Millstone Weber. I'm a senior project manager on the I-70 Project 1, Columbia to Kingdom City. So we started this project kind of right in the middle between Route M and Route J. And the reason for that was this 7-mile stretch had no bridges. So it was the quickest piece that could be designed. So with it being design build, they're still designing while we're constructing. So we thought that would be the quickest section to get us plans on so we could get started. Say some of the difficulties we've had have really just been, some things out of our control, like the weather. We didn't get to get started until July last year. We actually had a real winter this season, so we weren't able to get much done. And then as we come into spring, we dealt with a lot of rain. But it's just normal things you expect to deal with in construction. There's challenges on every project. There's challenges every day. Some are large, some are small. You really just use the people and resources you have around you, and usually we're able to find a solution to get through it. There's so many different traffic configurations because we really are trying to inconvenience the public and the traveling motorists as least as possible. So we can't do work during the daytime if we into a bunch of pieces because we're trying to leave lanes open and leave access at all times to the public. So it does take longer and probably costs a little more, but it is allowing the traveler, the public, to still get to their destination.
So coming forward, we're really excited that people like Brandy, our local mayors, our businesses, they're gonna really help tell the story on why I-70 is so important. So we're gonna focus on some of the construction aspects, we're gonna focus on some of the economic growth, but this Beyond the Barrels is gonna be a segment that's a quick 5-minute YouTube video that everybody can kind of see how I-70 is gonna benefit from this construction that's taking place in this generational opportunity. I'd also like to give credit to our project managers that we do have under contract. You just heard from Brandy, on a daily basis, she has about 150 craft workers that report to her and she helps manage, but our project managers for our first 3 projects, they're just problem solvers. Every day they're stuck with a million problems and find ways to overcome it. So not only do we have world-class companies building these projects, but the key people that they've associated with it are really true leaders and help driving completion of this on time and on budget. The last area I'd like to focus on is our workforce. The single most important thing that we're worried about is the safety of our workers. And we're also making sure while we do this generational program that we're developing the next set of leaders, whether that be our designers, our concrete finishers, the folks laying asphalt, whatever they may do, we want to make sure the next generation is ready to take over. We continue to work with our highway patrol. We continue to work with the local police to make sure our work zones are safe. And we're reaching out to the national, leaders in work zones from other state DOTs and looking outside the country as well to see what other practices can we do. And we're not going to be afraid to come to you with ideas or innovations to really make sure our work zones are as safe as possible. But this is what's paramount for our projects, is that we bring these women and men home safe every day that are out there working really hard to deliver results for the state. With that, I'll answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
just a comment, Eric. It just seems like yesterday we started this project over here in Columbia, and we're close to letting our 4th project go. And so just kudos and hats off to your team, to their contracting partners, and thank you, Eric, thank you for taking this project on. We really appreciate it, and you're doing a tremendous job, and I know you've got a great group behind you. So thank you for your leadership on this.
Ed?
Yeah, I think you see here kind of in living color what we're doing. And when we launched this, there was probably a lot of doubters, right? But there was enough people that had confidence that we could do this, the commission, the legislature, the governor. But a lot of people kind of gave it maybe a little bit of a slight, thinking, well, they're never going to do that. And I can tell you now that around the country, my counterparts are asking me, how are you doing that? They want to know, how are we putting this kind of project on the ground as quick as we put it on the ground, and getting not only the project, but the value. If you look at what we're getting for the price that we're paying, I think it's bar none that anybody's getting that kind of value for a project. So we're setting the bar, there's no doubt. And the leadership of our team, and I think something that might go unnoticed is the leadership of this team is coordinating with the leadership of every other team at MoDOT, because we have to coordinate with everything that goes on when we're working across the entire state. And so the leaders that are in the room and others is critical for this thing to happen. Eric leads that effort, but he's got a lot of help.
Well, it's been mentioned a couple times that we're kind of the envy of the nation right now in terms of our ability to deliver. And, we shouldn't take that for granted or take it lightly. I think it's in large part due to Eric and his team. They've exercised unprecedented leadership, but also to the contractors that they manage. The Missouri-based contracting community has been exceptional. And combined, those things lead us to be able to do things that other states just aren't able to do. And I can't let the opportunity pass without observing that part of the reason for that success is the continuity of the department. Part of that is due to the fact that we have an independent commission that allows the department to go from legislature to legislature, governor to governor with continuity. On occasion, that independent commission has been challenged or questioned, and I hope the people of Missouri listening today realize what a blessing it is to have an independent commission that oversees MoDOT and allows it to do this kind of unprecedented work. So Eric, thanks to your team. Let them all know how proud we are. Our last item is an action item today, and it is the consideration of the final statewide transportation improvement plan and program. Lance Taylor, Transportation and Planning Director, will present the 2026 through 2030 statewide transportation improvement program, otherwise known as STIP. Lance?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Chairman Irvin, Commissioners, Director Hassinger. As mentioned, I'm Lance Taylor, Transportation Planning Director, and I'm here. It's really my pleasure to present the statewide transportation improvement program for the STIP. Amy Binkley works for my team in transportation planning, and with the assistance of Monica Duncan and the rest of the STIP group, they really shepherd the organization through this development process. And I just want to extend my appreciation and my thanks to them for all their hard work. But this is a total team effort across the entire DOT. There are multiple division staff, every district has staff that are dedicated to this purpose of working to have those hard conversations and put the effort in so that we can bring this together and create this document. We're just very thankful for all their work as well. Of course, we're very thankful for our planning partners. Sarah's always good about being here. But honestly, we couldn't do this without them. The metropolitan planning organizations, regional planning commissions, dedicated staff. They are tied to the stakeholders in their region. They understand the needs. They work with us to be able to prioritize and program this work that becomes the STIP. And we do that through the planning framework. It's a nationally recognized award-winning approach to transportation planning. It's the envy of many in this nation when it comes to DOTs working with their planning partners. It's focused on bottom-up decision-making and make sure that there's a local voice in the room when decisions are made so that the things that are lifted up are impactful to the regions. Anytime we talk about the STIP, we like to talk about the financial planning model. It's really the sound fiscal management of the department. And it starts with the financial forecast. Once it's established, we're able to put together the budget, and then that determines funds available for the STIP. From those funds available to the STIP, you can see here in the graph of contractor awards that we were slightly higher with this last forecast. That makes more funding available to deliver projects through the STIP. We distribute those funds to the districts using the commission-approved distribution formula. It uses system size and usage, fatality, serious injury, crashes, population and employment numbers to be able to distribute those funds to each district. On this chart that we call the waterfall, you can see that after safety is accounted for, we first fund asset management before system improvement dollars become available. With this year's STIP, we had $13.2 billion worth of guaranteed funding, and we had the General Assembly designated initiative funding that was withheld. But we include those projects in the STIP, the ones that were restricted, and with that total, it makes it $13.3 billion. $13.3 billion, you kind of lose sometimes the context of what that is. If you consider that in seconds, 13.3 billion seconds, that's 460 years. You couldn't count to 13.3 billion in 5 lifetimes. It's a huge number, and we are very grateful for having that funding available to us through all of the different avenues to be able to move transportation forward. So with that $13.3 billion, we were able to identify 1,289 road and bridge type projects in section 4 of this bid. But as was mentioned earlier, we are tasked by our public, by our customers and our system users to maintain the system and services that we have. And so we focus on asset management with every STIP. As you can see, 82% of the projects included in the STIP were focused on that purpose. Additionally, there was about 12% focused on capital improvement and 6% on other items. Of those asset management type work, we're addressing a little over 12,500 miles of pavement, lane miles of pavement, and just over 1,000 bridges. Anytime we move from the current STIP to the new STIP, we like to recognize that these are commitments, and we want to track how we're doing with those commitments. For projects that moved from the old STIP to the new STIP, those were increased in cost by about $200 million. 2.2% of that was inflationary, and then almost 5% was those other cost drivers. As we do the engineering, as we look at those projects, we identify additional needs, safety opportunities, and those things are included through the design, and the estimates are reflected. We have 163 projects that moved in time and schedule. A lot of those were related to just aligning with all this incredible work that we have going in the different regions to make sure that we're accommodating the demands of that large-scale construction. We added 298 road and bridge type projects with the distributed funding that does not include the GR funds. And then we had 19 projects that were completed with those large-scale projects. Some of it overlapped existing work, and those were incorporated in, and the job numbers were dropped. We had one cost share project that was withdrawn by the partnering entity. We had work done by our forces or other forces, and then we had a project that we've tried a few times and we've got no bids. And so the district's going to step back and look at how else we might be able to address that. For those, the General Assembly designated funded initiatives, we had carryover projects on 70, on 44, and several additional locations. With the most recent, the 2025 legislative session, we added 459 lane miles of paving with those designated projects. So there was about 90 million in total. 20 million of it is from the 10 rural route projects. We're again fortunate to get funding to be able to continue to advance our rural routes. 28 million was for the 7 additional projects. 20 million in multimodal needs were added, and then 22 million in all-system project needs. Again, we included those projects in the STIP that were restricted funding, so that we are ready if that funding becomes available. It's in the STIP and it's ready to move forward. We also include the multimodal program within the STIP. And you can see over the last 5 years, there's been a tremendous increase in the funding available to multimodal programs. This is not road and bridge funds. It's other discretionary funds, other dedicated state and federal funds, but it's money that is dedicated for that purpose. And in total, it's over $1.1 billion available to multimodal needs. We also include the maintenance and operation work plans. This is really about transparency and helping our citizens, our system users know what work's going to come in their regions, both from the contract work and from district staff. So the big change from draft to final is that we take it out to public comment. We receive that feedback and we consider the comments that are provided. When we received a total of 73 comments this time, that some of those comments were on a single submission with multiple comments, so we didn't receive a total of 73 submissions, just the total of comments. 41 of those requested additional roadway, road and bridge projects that included Route N St. Charles. Several comments were related to that location. Route 63 in Kirksville, Route C Lincoln, Route 36 upgrades across the state, Route 61 Hannibal bypass, Route 47 upgrades along the corridor, Route 19 widening, Route 136 improvements, and then 2 locations on 50, the Lynn bypass, and then Route 50 toll. So we take those comments and we share those with the respective districts so that they are also aware. We had 13 comments that just offered support for existing projects that were in the STIP. 4 that pointed out to us locations that were in poor condition. 4 regarding multimodal needs. 3 just in general on how we spend the funds that are available to us. And then 2 requests for our formal support of the Ozark Parkway, Ozark Expressway. 1 was a thank you to St. Louis District. 1 was they pointed out a location of concern that was off system. 1 was identified an incorrect reference, so it was an error that they recognized. Appreciate that as well. 1 just in general did not support the STIP. 1 was concerned that we all are keeping our commitments. And then 1 that related to encouraging us to continue focusing on maintaining the system. So there's always some changes between draft and finals. We had 31 major changes. Those are mostly related to the General Assembly designated and funded initiative projects. 10 for the low volume road program, the Governor's Rural Route program. 7 for additional locations, 5 for off-system projects or studies, 8 for multimodal improvement needs, and then 1 project, Webster Y, that was added as an emergency, a potential emergency contract. And then we had several minor changes. These are, just errata type changes, corrections, cleanup verbiage. 500 pages. We'll have things that are missed, and we appreciate the opportunity to get those corrected. So in closing, I would first answer any questions that you have, but then I would like to also request formally that you approve the 26 to 2030 STIP and certify our planning process was carried out in accordance with 23 CFR 450.220. And then also delegate authority to the Deputy Director, Chief Engineer, so that he can add scoping, hardship right-of-way purchases, and urgent or emergency projects, and then also make fiscally constrained revisions to projects.
Very good, thank you. Thank you once again. Do we have questions about the STIP, additions, subtractions? At this point, it might be a little late for that, but any questions or comments on the STIP?
Mr. Chair, I've got a comment.
All right.
Lance, thank you. Really appreciate the update. I think there's 1,300 projects in this STIP, which is incredible. As most of the folks in the room know, I'm a huge fan of our planning process. It's really, our planning partners throughout the state. Of course, Miss Sarah's back there, and that whole the way that we handle this, we remove the obstacles up front, and when we get ready to execute, that's why we execute better than any DOT in the country. It's because of the way we go through this planning process. You line them up, then our folks on the ground knock them down. Our folks like Eric Kapinski in the back, they they line it up to knock it down. And this DOT is the best. They're world class at delivering projects, which makes me really proud. A lot of work goes into this. I mean, a lot of work, a lot of coordination. To the districts, thank you for the districts on their input. I know they do a heavy lift getting to this point, and we do this very well, and it's because of your leadership and leadership of your team. So thank you, Lance.
Thank you for those kind words. I want to say that the commission is always speaking to the planning framework more eloquently than I can, and it's always humbling to hear you guys supporting that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd move that we approve the 2026 to 2030 STEP.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Before we vote, I want to remind everyone that we have a very robust conflict of interest process here at MoDOT, where each of us has submitted a list of properties where we have personally or through organizations that we have an economic interest, like our employers have an interest. And the staff does a thorough review of all those locations against every one of those 1,300 projects. And where we lie with an interest within 1 mile of a project, to avoid the appearance of conflict of interest, we abstain. For me alone, there are 9 pages of abstentions on this vote we're about to take, and every single one of us has quite a number of them. For me, because of the railroad, which goes everywhere, it produces quite a list of those. So I inform the public that while we're voting on the STIP today, where each of us is individually voting on that portion of the STIP, which we have not abstained on. And the record will include that in the letters that we submitted. So with that, we've had a motion and a second to approve the STIP. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote since we're spending over 13 billion here, and we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Erdman,
Yes.
Commissioner Boatright.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Heckman,
Aye.
Commissioner Slay,
Aye.
Commissioner Baker.
Aye.
All ayes.
Very good. Well, another year's work done, and thank you. Tremendous, as always, a tremendous and much to be proud of. All right. Well, thanks to those of you who have stayed. We're kind of getting to the end here. We're now at our public comment period. Members of the public who did not schedule a presentation before the commission may speak to the commission on transportation-related issues by having signed in at the registration desk by 9:30 a.m. this morning. Their comments will be limited to 5 minutes per person and 10 minutes per topic. Today, I have one. Do we have any additional? Okay, thank you. Very good. Okay, the first registrant for public comment is Mr. Jackson Hotling. Did I get that right? If I didn't, I apologize.
Almost hoteling.
Hoteling, okay, my apology.
All right. Well,
Floor is yours.
Appreciate it. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Director Hassinger. As a Columbia resident, I do appreciate that you had the meeting within a 5-minute bicycle ride of my house, so thank you. My name is Jackson Hoteling, representing Missourians for Responsible Transportation, MRT, a nonprofit working to build streets, roads, and trails that work for all Missourians. MRT is a partnership between Bikewalk KC in Kansas City, Trailhead in St. Louis, Ozark Greenways in Springfield, Local Motion in Columbia, our rural community partners, and thousands of members across the state. We are recognized as Vulnerable Road User, or VRU, experts in consultation with MoDOT's long-range transportation plan and strategic highway safety plan update processes, and have worked along with MoDOT to advocate for legislative goals such as distracted driving legislation. We also contract with Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services on numerous efforts, including leading Missouri Complete Streets, an initiative founded in 2010 that has worked to help numerous communities across the state develop stronger active transportation policies, and has also identified statewide active transportation planning as a MoDOT policy gap. Today I'm requesting that the Mhtc support the LRTP process as they identify whether to consider a statewide bike ped or active transportation plan in the coming months. So MRT fully supports the addition of a statewide active transportation plan to Missouri's transportation planning framework. So we speak to you at a critical moment. A third of Missourians do not drive on their own, such as aging folks, children, folks with disabilities, those who can't afford a car, people like myself that don't own a car. Unfortunately, we're also at a time when Missouri has had its highest ever pedestrian fatality rate in 2024, reflecting an 88% increase in bicycle and pedestrian fatalities since 2014. In 2024, Missouri ranked second to last in terms of bicycle-friendly states and dead last for safe routes to school, according to several national organizations that analyze all states' policies for bicycle pedestrian planning. So we don't need to look far for where those safety risks exist. A couple blocks from here at the University and College Avenue, also known as Missouri State Highway 763, that's Columbia's intersection with the highest number of pedestrian crashes. So, you know, these people are students, they're children, potentially of MoDOT staff, or future leaders that are coming to participate in a lot of these training programs that we've talked about earlier. So factors related to those issues include distracted driving, larger average size of vehicles, rapid roadway, and highway expansions across Missouri without accompanying bike, pedestrian, or transit infrastructure. Those are exacerbating those safety challenges. So we're concerned that VRU fatalities will continue to climb if we do not plan for and invest in VRU projects throughout MoDOT's system. So with that said, we encourage the MHTC to consider a dedicated statewide planning effort for VRU to guide future STIP projects. The statewide active transportation plan is a crucial guiding document to support the development of a robust system of accessible transportation connections for communities of all sizes. Missouri is the most populous of 4 remaining states lacking a specific DOT plan for active transportation. And these plans outline active transportation funding, guide network development, and identify proven safety interventions. So, per the obligations in the April 2024 RFP for the LRTP update, we're grateful that MoDOT is working with contractors to assess the need and interest for a statewide active transportation plan. On MRT's side, we plan to host some meetings, continual discussion. I'm involved in the executive committee for the LRTP update process. And just want to try to elevate in any way that we can research that exists, projects that are going on, introduce to connections that we have with neighboring state DOTs that have gone through these kinds of processes, such as with Kansas DOT that updated theirs a couple of years ago. We just ask that you all follow along with the LRTP update process and pay attention to these findings that will come through in order to assess the future need and statewide interest for a statewide active transportation plan. So we look forward to any further discussions and really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the? Appreciate your joining us today, and thanks for your testimony.
Appreciate it. Thank you to all of you.
We also, okay, it looks like Arnie's here. Welcome. It looks like you made it.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, my name is Arnie C. AC Dinoff, State Public Advocate. A couple of issues that I'd like to go over are, I'm a real big advocate on official public hearings and getting people on the record and having a dialogue where Missourians can hear other Missourians. A lot of these public hearings are not considered, in my opinion, public hearings. You may get by to get federal funding and comply with federal law, but when you walk around a room and it's informal and MoDOT relies on people writing things on paper or sending emails, is not a public hearing. And so I would encourage this commission to look into real true public hearings like we have at the state legislature, at the state capitol, at county commissions, at county councils, at city councils, and Board of Alderman meetings. I think on the record, public hearings are the way to go. I would like to make a official request for July 8, 2025, the 1 p.m. workshop discussing medical and life insurance. I'd like to make a public information request under Chapter 610.021 and 022, July 8, 2025 at 3 p.m., the closed meeting. I think it needs to be a matter of public record of how each individual member voted, what the topics were, and what the outcome is. June 4th, 2025 at 1 o'clock p.m., a closed meeting. Again, I think we need transparency and disclosure. June 4th, 2025 at 3 p.m., another closed meeting. And then June 4th, 2025, you discussed the 2025 audit and the 2025 engagement letter, the 2026 internal audit plan. And I'd like to have that information, and if you could post it to the website for all Missourians, I would greatly appreciate it. The board packets, you're putting the board packets online, but it's after the fact, not giving residents and people the time to digest, understand, ask staff questions, and get involved in the process, and then testify intelligently before you as commissioners. Some of you are other elected officials in other branches, and they do it far a different way. The state legislature is a prime example of putting forth the information in all the documents, all the fiscal reports and fiscal notes are all public information before you go into a public hearing before the Missouri Senate or the Missouri House of Representatives. And I would ask that you try to do that. I don't like secret meetings, and this commission has a lot of secret meetings that need scrutiny and transparency of our 6.2 million Missourians. On I-70 movement, there's some great progress on I-70. Eric Kapinski is an excellent leader and the man for the job. He has a great team and great contractors, awesome communication and notifications, and there's more that you would ever want to know about I-70, and I appreciate that communication and that transparency. There's actual pouring of concrete east of Kingdom City that I saw at the 137 mile marker, and that's a great sign that we're getting closer to the finish line. When it comes to that area, I learned a new sign today, and if somebody could tell me what it means, I'd greatly appreciate it. It says, the sign is a white sign, says WB GAP, G-A-P 1. And so I don't know what that means exactly, but if somebody can enlighten me, it's a new sign that I'm not familiar with. There's going to be delays. I ask that Missourians reduce speeds, drive responsible, safe, be aware of surroundings, watch workers, give them the space to work, use caution, follow the sign instructions, and use common sense. The Transportation Management Center, there's a problem. I called in on Saturday, June 19, 2025 for nails in the roadway on Missouri Highway K in O'Fallon. I talked to the customer service person who refused to identify themselves and wanted to get into an argument with me and wanted me to do his job and call the Missouri Highway Patrol. He finally said that his name was Mark. I did some research and identified him as Mark G. Stillman, operator number 2, traffic monitoring, Transportation Management Center. It's a team effort between Missourians and MoDOT employees. And this should never occur, what happened to me on the telephone, of disrespect, arguing, and telling me that it's my job to get the nails out of the roadway and have the highway patrol do the job for MoDOT. It should never occur again. And finally, I have a couple requests for maintenance site distance where there's accidents and exposures in St. Charles County in the O'Fallon, Darden Prairie area, the intersection of Technology Boulevard, MoDOT owned, at Weldon Spring Road. It's on the border of O'Fallon and Darden Prairie. Grass as tall as 80% of the people in this room. And so accidents are occurring because of site distance. They're creeping into the intersection, and they're getting hit by oncoming east and westbound traffic. Missouri Highway N, from Missouri Highway K to Missouri 364, grass taller than me on the sidewalks, trees growing, sight distance issues, pedestrian issues, mowing needs to be done, trimming, and weed control. They did the main mowing, but they forgot to do the weeds along the sidewalk, which is creating a lot of problems for pedestrians. And we want to limit our liability and mitigate any accidents. And so also Missouri Highway K needs some immediate mowing. And I appreciate you as commissioners hearing me in an openly format. Hopefully we can change some of the ways that we are transparent and open with Missourians. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your testimony and appreciate the effort you took to be here today. I noticed the chief engineer was taking detailed notes while you were speaking, so I'm sure he'll have some responses to you. And we've duly noted your request for public documents. Thanks for your time. That concludes our public comment period. Typically, at the end of each meeting, we like to provide each commission member with the opportunity to share any concerns or comments or observations they have from the meeting. Today, we'll start to my left, Commissioner Slay.
Yes, thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here and thank you for your work. As always, I was impressed today again with all the tremendous talent within the MoDOT team, the presentations that were made, all the great work that you're all doing, and the impact that you all have, the enormous impact you have on quality of life of Missouri and the safety of people traveling the roads that we all are responsible for. So thank you for that, and the incredible impact you have on the state as a whole. Each one of these meetings, we all get the opportunity to hear sometimes from the same individuals in leadership within the organization. Other times we hear from people we don't always get to see on an individual basis and talk to. But I'm always impressed with the tremendous talent, the leadership, the professionalism, and the impact that you all have. So I just want to thank the entire MoDOT team for your leadership, the work that you do, and the many challenges that you have to address throughout the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Slay. Commissioner Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's always a pleasure to visit the various districts, and each district always has its own personality and its own vibe. I'm very impressed today by what we've heard from the Mid-Missouri district. There is obviously an energy and an urgency, and in my mind, that's a very winning combination. And it's evident by their report. And thank you for hosting us and for having us. I'm also struck by the stakeholders, the city, the chamber, the university, as well as the district office for MoDOT, and how they're working together and getting along and challenging one another to keep things on track, keep ahead of things. That's noteworthy, and I'm very, very proud of that, and you should be very proud of that here. I also, on a lighter note, would just say that it's great to be in Columbia. I'm a proud Mizzou alum. It's good to be here on campus. And I did note a very subtle MIZ from the College of Engineering earlier, which I will complete later. But it just occurred to me, maybe we try that here and have a little team spirit. I say Mo, you say Mo. Mo. Okay, I like the spirit. Thanks for playing along. And I'll say it the other way too, MIZ. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker. Commissioner Hageman. Can you beat that?
I don't know that I can follow that right now. I'm echoing what everybody else said. Michelle, you're doing a great job here, and your team doing here in Central Missouri. The 98% have the job is filled, and that 98% is outstanding. And I think that's wonderful. You're able to get the work done here. You've got the tools now. And the community presentation, and the collaboration here is just outstanding. Love to see that around the state. Columbia, once again, is a leader in showing that and showcasing that. So it's wonderful to see that, especially on the I-70 project and moving forward. And Eric's team's continuing to to show and perform and do well. And Director, I would give you a lot of kudos in that regards too. You put together a great team there to move us forward on that. And so thank you, Director, and your team for helping put that together. Eric, you might have had something to do as well too, so it's good. But all, it's great to be here in Central Missouri and appreciate the warm and welcoming community here. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. The Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's all been said. I'm not going to go into thanking Michelle again, but great job. I love your 98%. Eric, great job on I-70. It's going to be a wonderful project. I hope I live long enough to drive on it. Hell, I probably won't be driving then. But anyway, it's always good to see Sarah, and she always makes a trip no matter where we're at in the state to come up here, and whether we're in Columbia or Kirksville, and I appreciate that. I really do. So it's great to be in Columbia. What a wonderful town. I've spent a lot of money here with my daughter in school. So, but anyway, thank you. Thank you to the team. Thank you for Jennifer and all of your team. Thanks. I yield back.
Vice Chairman Boatright.
Proud of this team. Keep executing, keep solving problems. I mean, you're the best in the nation at doing it, so just keep winning for Missouri. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks to the University of Missouri for hosting us here today, and the people of Columbia. We're really excited about what you have going on here. Looking forward to football season just around the corner, coming back to Columbia and enjoying some of the hospitality here. Before we adjourn, I want to note that our next meeting is scheduled for August 6th, and we will be meeting in St. Joseph. With that, do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Been moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Hello.